The game we'll be reviewing today is Inertial Drift, a little indie game by Level 91 Entertainment. And this seems to be their first released game. At least from what I could find about them, there is not a lot of information out there. But that doesn't matter, as that was not the reason I was attracted to this game, but the idea that this is a twin stick racing game, or at least that is how they're selling it as. So, what does this twin stick mean for a racing game? Well, when I first saw it, it seemed rather gimmicky. So, the idea is the left stick steers the car, like any other racing game, and the right stick makes the car drift. So, why not just have a handbrake button? That was what I asked myself at first. But after playing the game, I got it. Mechanics are built in such a way to focus on drifting, and while arcadey having a much more precise control of the drifting, so it makes sense to put it on a stick, and the game is built around drifting. In fact, the left stick that steers the car mostly serves to do small adjustments to the direction of the car without drifting. And that's why if you go into this game with this idea of a crazy thing they could pull off with the twin sticks, then you might be disappointing. Now going into it with the idea that this is a unique take on drifting, then you might be a lot more happy with your expectations. The game also has a really nice aesthetic and art style of neon lights and bloomy skies, and a cartoony style to the cars and characters to sell this casual world of drifting pretty well. The story helps accentuate this feeling, as main characters in the story, without spoiling, have a focus on driving for fun over doing it for competition. And while this was cool and different, it serves more for the feeling of the game than the actual story, as I don't think I'll be remembering any of these characters in the long term. The difficulty also reflects this overall feeling of relaxation. It is a very easy game on normal difficulty. In fact, the hardest race in the whole game was the first race on the second zone, as the opponent actually had an interest in being the fastest driver. So, if you're looking for a challenge, I highly recommend starting on higher difficulty right from the beginning. It is very much a style and feeling over substance type of game. The actual gameplay, despite being unique, is very simple, and that works to its favor as it makes it easy to learn. Given how different it is, honestly, one of the few games I can think of that even has a sort of similar gameplay is the Ridge Racer series. There aren't much game modes, and the ones that there are aren't very different from your average Need for Speed game, like time trials, style type of racing where drifting gives you points, among a few others, and of course just regular racing in 1v1 style races. The story mode will last you less than 2 hours, which is very short, but the game incentivizes you to replay the story with different characters and their different cars. Something that also adds to giving you more playtime is the split screen multiplayer, which is always a nice addition to a racing game. There is also an online multiplayer, but given this is a rather small indie game by a rather unknown studio, the chances of you getting in an online game are rather slim. There also aren't that many tracks in the game. The game claims 20 tracks, but realistically it has 7 unique locations that look really nice and distinct. Then the tracks that do exist within those set locations will look very similar within each other, especially given the aesthetic of the game, so be aware of that. Overall, this is a game that could only exist as an indie game for a niche taste, a relaxing drifting game. It is a short experience, but if this is the very specific experience you're looking for and you plan on playing it a lot despite the short campaign, then go for it. $20 is not a bad price. For everyone else though, while I think this is an interesting game, I would rather wait for a price drop or a sale when it goes for 10 or less, especially given the very short campaign like I've mentioned before, And at that price, I think you'd be a lot happier with it. And that is it for another video game review. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe, because that's a good thing that you can do, and it's completely free, kind of. I'm still stuck at home, and I don't have the famous disease that's going on right now. I think I didn't mention that in the last video, but it's not that. But anyways, it's helping me make videos, even though it can be a bit hard sometimes. But thank you for watching. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Subscribe, that's what matters, I think. Views, who cares? Bye.